Christian apologists have their hands full dealing with rising apostasy levels in the Western world. You have 1% of the Christian population being shaved off every year since the 1990s. Christians are leaving, and mainly leaving in one direction, towards atheism or agnosticism. Now, we can talk about the reasons behind the massive cultural shift in the West away from religion and towards more liberal ideologies, and how Christian apologists are trying to combat this, but that's a topic for another video. We're going to focus more on another interesting phenomenon. Of the millions who left Christianity in these 5 years, a large majority became unaffiliated, but not all. What is the next biggest thing Christians are turning to? So, yeah, apologists seem to be freaking out that not only are they bleeding out followers to liberalism, but Christianity is also losing so many people to this foreign, backward, savage, woman-beating culture. At least, that's how apologists have presented Islam to their audience. If you look at this graph again, Islam is the only major world religion that has a net positive conversion rate in America. This chart has nothing to do with birth rates. Even in the UK, you have a 13.1% drop in Christianity in 10 years, with a 12% increase in atheism and agnosticism, with the remaining 1.1% going to Islam. Every other religion remains steady.
How? I don't know how!
So, the Christian response to such damning statistics is David Wood, the defender of Christianity against Islam. The problem is, he's a bloody liar, and a champion of the strawman fallacy. Take a good read before I demonstrate his strawman in action.
To intentionally misread or misrepresent an argument to simplify the process of discrediting it, that's a little bit less forgivable. To take nuanced points out of context, to ignore crucial information, to even exaggerate claims to the point of absurdity, which is then easier to refute. These are all strawman tactics.
My problem is that David Wood intentionally misrepresents Islam to discredit it, and the rest of his apologist friends are really no different. We'll start with the amazing Islamic Dilemma argument that his minions then decided to replicate with their own videos.
In Surah 29, verse 46, the Quran commands Muslims to say to Christians, "We believe in what has been revealed to us and in what has been revealed to you. Our God and your God is one, and to Him we submit." Yet many Muslims say something very different to Christians. They say, "We don't believe in your book because it's been corrupted, and your God is a false God."
Yeah, so he's already added his own spice into this. Muslims never say the Christian God is a false God. We say your perception of God is false. Muslims will never say, "We don't believe in what was revealed to Isa alayhi salam, who you know as Jesus." What Muslims do say is the Bible you have right now is corrupted. It may have some portions of it that were revealed to Jesus, but the New Testament is mainly a haphazard collection of 4 gospel writer accounts, all of whom are anonymous, and the letters of Paul. Oh yeah, wrong Paul. Paul, whom Muslims give no authority to. This isn't a Muslim conspiracy. Christian theologians themselves accept the fact that verses have been added and taken out of the Bible. Watch my previous videos for more context. As for the Quran verse itself, you skip the first part of the verse where Allah tells Muslims to engage in a manner which is best except with unreasonable people, because every engagement should start in a reasonable manner with commonality rather than coming out all guns blazing. It is not an absolute verse telling Muslims to believe in the Bible. Allah has already made it clear that the Bible is distorted, but Wood hasn't given you that context, so he can begin to set up his straw man.
If Muslims are commanded to say that they believe in what has been revealed to us, why do they instead say that they don't believe in the Bible, the only revelation we have? And if they're commanded to say that our God and their God is one, why do they instead say that our God is a false god.
Alright, so step 1 is complete. The real argument from the Quranic verse has been ignored. Step 2 is in process, but he has already created a pretend argument. Let's call it pretend argument number 1, where he basically says that the Quran tells Muslims to believe in the Bible. Just keep this in mind.
The Quran declares that the Torah and the Gospel were revealed by Allah. But our Muslim friends tell us that Allah couldn't protect the Torah and the Gospel.
He's throwing a false statement in here. Allah protects what he wills. Muslims would never say Allah couldn't protect something. With the same logic, was the Father not capable of protecting his Son, hanging from the cross according to you?
And that both revelations were corrupted by men. What Allah sent to guide people ended up misguiding people, convincing Christians that God is a trinity and that Jesus died on the cross for sins.
Seriously? You literally just said that both revelations were corrupted by men. So what Allah sent to the people did not misguide them, the corruption of men did that. Another instance of Wood making a misleading argument.
We should be puzzled when Muslims tell us that the Torah and the Gospel were changed, because the Quran states that no one can change Allah's words. There is none who can change his words. And you shall not find any refuge besides him.
And here we have the completion of step 2, because Wood just made pretend argument number 2, claiming that the Quran says that no previous revelations can ever be corrupted. This is, of course, a false claim and a false understanding of none can alter his words. If you read this verse, the context is clearly about what is revealed to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Elsewhere in the Quran, we see that none can alter his words refer to Allah's decree or judgment, which is made clear by the exegesis of this verse as well. Now, he makes a bunch more pretend arguments, but I'm not going to spend all my time on this. Let's put these two pretend arguments together. The Quran says no previous revelations can ever be corrupted. The Quran commands Muslims to believe everything in the Bible. Both of these are false statements, but he will use these false statements to justify his Islamic dilemma, because without these statements, the claim won't make any sense, which it doesn't because these statements are false.
If we have the inspired, preserved, authoritative Word of God, Islam is false, because Islam contradicts what we have.
Yet you don't have the preserved Word of God.
If we don't have the inspired, preserved, authoritative Word of God, Islam is false, because the Quran affirms the inspiration, preservation, and authority of our book.
No, it doesn't, unless we buy into your pretend arguments. And as you can see here, step number 3 is now complete, except I think he defeated the pretend argument with another pretend argument. If you know what I mean, do write it in the comments if you figured it out. Anyway, he continues with step 4, but you get the point. This is the argument, and it's just a pretty pathetic one, because it only works if you don't know how to read properly, or if you choose to read what you want to read and ignore everything else. And this is my problem with David Wood and many other Christian apologists who make entire arguments built off lies.
If you read the Quran, you will find clearly that Muhammad is above Allah himself.
That there is not a single verse in the Quran designed to comfort a hurting man.
Muhammad, for example, didn't shy away from using his leadership role to acquire substantial wealth.
Also, the Bible is easier to learn than the Quran.
And we begin our prayer, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
Please have my father stop beating my mother.
I was forced to memorize the Quran. Every mistake that you do, this whip will just come right in the middle of your head.
Saying Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Malik yawmiddin, iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. I was a Muslim.
If you are a Christian, this is your problem as well. Unless you have no problem with lying frauds taking over your religion. Abe, phir se iski shakal dal di. Look, Mr. Reasonable Christian guy. What apologetics are going on here? What defense of Christianity is going on by him wearing his wife's Victoria's Secret outfit?
I picked that up when we were watching a debate between Jamal Badawi and William Lane Craig. Badawi couldn't answer anything Craig said. And by the end, Badawi was like yelling and so on. And from a Western perspective, most people would look at that and say, you're yelling because you're desperate, you know you're losing.
In the New Testament, we fail to find any conclusive, more clear statement, not arguable statement that could be interpreted in more than one way that shows that Jesus indeed claimed to be divine.
Whoa, Dr. Badawi, calm down. You're looking too desperate for our civilized Western audience here. Now, with all seriousness, I watched the end and actually did find the moment Wood was talking about.
But now you seek to kill me, a man.
Oh, Terry, who let the Badawi out?
Is it like an honor culture thing? Because I don't want to just hypergeneralize, just be like, Arabic people are more aggressive.
Yeah. No, you should generalize. You can never get too close to the Badus. Here's Dr. Badawi after the debate.
If you're becoming angry, it's to lots of them, it's a sign that you know you're right. Right. Okay. And if you're just sitting around calm and you're just, well, I disagree, it's because it doesn't even get you excited. Like what's wrong with you? Do you really even believe this? You can trace this back in the Muslim sources where Muslims would have an argument and they would say, but we knew he was right because of how angry he got.
Yes, I even found the source he's talking about. Let me just pull it up right here. Hey. In case you actually believe this lying piece of Christian apologia, here are actual quotes of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam dispelling the absolute garbage you just heard. Verily, the best of men are slow to anger and quick to be appeased, and the most evil of men are quick to anger and slow to be appeased. Tell me of a word I can live by, but not so much that I forget. The Prophet said, avoid being angry. The man repeated his question, and the Prophet said, avoid being angry. When one of you is angry, he should remain silent.
You can trace this back in the Muslim sources where Muslims would have an argument and they would say, but we knew he was right because of how angry he got.
Why do you lie, man?
Why are you the way that you are?
Actually, I do know why he is the way he is. He gave us the answer himself.
I'm a diagnosed psychopath.
According to the diagnosis, it's generally viewed that psychopaths do not experience guilt or remorse. I can say right now that whatever you are feeling when you feel bad for something that you have done, I've never felt it in my entire life. Not with anything, not with attacking my dad with a hammer, even to this day, even after becoming a Christian.
Our poor guy is not doing so well upstairs. Things like dishonesty, manipulation, and a lack of guilt are part of their nature. You can't blame the psychopath for being a psychopath. You blame the people who propagate his psychotic behavior. Rather than fact-checking, ignoring, or disowning him, you get apologists jumping into bed with him, calling him a prominent Christian thinker. Remember this guy? David Wood and the world of Christian apologia have brainwashed the Christian masses into thinking this guy was actually Muslim. They have made him a poster child of an ex-Muslim converting to Christianity, with no mention that he is actually a Qadiani.
I loved Allah, I loved Islam, I loved Muhammad, I loved my parents, I loved everything that I've ever grown up with, but that didn't make it true.
Nabil Qureshi, who was an ex-Muslim.
Look, there's a book called Seeking Allah, Finding Jesus. It's about a Muslim who had a Christian friend who just loved him for years.
Bro, this guy's former belief includes Jesus surviving the resurrection, moving to Kashmir, and ended up dying and getting buried there.
Jesus was not crucified, but died, and this particular group said that he had died in Kashmir. Have you heard this before?
This is the Ahmadiyas. These are not Muslims.
Oh, thank God. Finally, an honest Christian apologist.
But what I love about Nabil was his tenacity for his Lord, as he unpacked what it meant to leave Islam,
Nabil was as Muslim as this atheist lesbian church leader is Christian. By the way, she isn't a minister for some random small offshoot church. She's a minister in Canada's second largest church. Do you know how embarrassing it is for Christians who try to use Nabil's manipulated story as some sort of gotcha when talking to me? Only to find out that the whole devout Muslim thing was a deception. Well, it's embarrassing for the honest Christians. For the dishonest ones who have no shame, they'll just switch to, oh, well, you know, Muslims are seeing Jesus in their dreams all over the world. He ain't showing up in the dreams of millions ditching Christianity on a yearly basis, but oh yes, he's showing up for the Muslims. So what should I do here? When I started this channel, which I still haven't updated the kindergarten style logo for, I genuinely wanted to avoid bozos like these people, because they are just repeating low IQ arguments that have been repeatedly debunked. These people aren't even preaching Christianity, they're just attacking Islam. They are like a person covered in manure camped outside your house, repeatedly throwing this on your property. If any guest tries to enter your home, they'll fling some of this on them as well. If you go and try to fight them, you'll get covered in manure yourself. You bring a power wash out, they'll just bring some more manure the next day, and you'll have to do it all over again. I feel like the only way to win is to show the world that they aren't covered in roses, but in manure. I would sincerely love to open the eyes of a sincere Christian to realize that these clowns aren't spreading anything more than this. Now, their die-hard without lies, Islam dies IQ fans might not be able to smell the manure, but I'm hoping others can. As for me, I'm going to turn my attention away from these clowns for now. There's bigger and better things to talk about. As Muslims, stop watching their clownery. They have nothing good to offer. Let their fans smell the manure and think it's perfume. The reality of Christianity's downfall will catch up to them eventually.
When I blast their prophet, they can't stay away.
Yeah, you blasting a prophet of God is the equivalent of a dog trying to spit at the moon.